The City of Quincy Licensing Board meeting is now in session for February 21st, 2017. Before we start, let me just read the open meeting law. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made whether perceived or unperceived by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. There you go. We originally had 6 items on the agenda. We have had 1 item continued until March 7th. That is a hearing regarding the request of Myshqeri at Elena's Café for a 1-day wine and malt. We will hear that on March 7th. First item on the agenda will be agenda item number 2. Hearing regarding the request of Costi Tuma for a garage repair license at 664 Washington Street. This is Christopher Harrington representing Costi. Did I say that, Tuma?
Yes.
T-O-U-M-A, right?
On the agenda, the name was spelled incorrectly. It's T-O-U-M-A.
T-O-U-M-A, okay. So this is a license for a garage repair license. Why don't you present your...
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Board members, for the record, Christopher Harrington. My law office is at 21 McGrath Highway, and I represent U.S. Automotive Service Corp., the current licensee, and Costi Toma, the proposed licensee. This gas station has had a gas and repair license since approximately 2001. And you may know the current owner, Nick Taylor. This station is located at 664 Washington Street near the Fall River Bridge. And Nick Taylor broke both of his arms working in this gas station. He was standing on a 12 or 14 foot step ladder and changing the fluorescent lights in the...
I didn't quite get that.
Changing the fluorescent lights in the high up in the garage and fell off the ladder. He broke both of his arms, and he has pins and screws in his arms and wrists, and he's unable to lift heavy objects. And so the reason why we're here is that Nick would like to sublet the 2 repair bays in his gas station to Costi Toma, who's going to be the mechanical work out of that location. Mr. Taylor understands that he's going to turn in his license. He'll no longer be using it, assuming you issue the license to Costi. Costi has been in the United States since 2010. He came from Lebanon. He's a United States citizen, and he's been working as a mechanic at BZ Auto Repair on School Street. And he's now starting his own business and wants to start his own auto repair shop. So we're asking to turn in the license that's held by USP Auto Service Corp. and issue a new license to Costi's Auto Repair, which is the DBA for our Costi Toma. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer.
So again, this gas station has undergone extensive renovations, actually completely knocked down and rebuilt again. The garage is on the right-hand side of the property. It's a big, big lot. There is plenty of parking on the lot. I do know that when this license was issued after going through the records back in the late 70s, I believe, that there was a condition that the site, as it was presently constructed, that it would not be sublet out to anyone else. Seeing that the property's undergone extensive renovations, increased the parking ability for automobiles there. I know he has a used car license from us that he uses mainly to purchase vehicles for friends up at the car auction, so that he can sell it. It's not like he has a used car lot there. If a regular customer comes in and is looking for a car for their daughter or for a relative or whatever, he's able to go up there and get it. Perfectly valid reason to have it, so we have no issues with that either. And this is, again, just a garage repair license to be sublet out to Costi Toma. So with that, I'm just going to open it up to, does anybody in the audience have any comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll close. Board members, any comments, questions? Chief Barron?
Mr. Harrington, is Mr. Tuma here?
He is.
And Inspector Wong was by there and inspected. I have some notes from him. It appears that there's a fire extinguisher missing and that he will need to come up for an acetylene license if he's going to be doing any cutting or welding. Is he aware of that?
Yes, Costi, come up here.
Hi, Mr. Toma. So Inspector Wong was by, and you need to come up to our fire prevention office between 7 and 12 noon and apply for an acetylene permit. And you may need a waste oil permit as well. So if you would make sure you communicate with them and make sure you get those proper permits. If you don't come up, we'll be contacting you, but I would hold your license up for that. Mr. Harrington will make sure that he
Yes.
follows through.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All of the appropriate paperwork is in place except for one item. We are missing his workman's compensation information. So prior to this being issued, we want to make sure we get that.
If he has no employees, he doesn't.
Oh,
Yeah, he has no
no
employees.
employees, okay,
Yes,
then
he
he's
still
all
has to
set.
fill it out.
But yeah, it still has to get filled out then, but as long as he has no employees, then he's all set. Emergency contact form is all in. Seeing that, I mean, I would definitely be in support. It's a huge improvement to the property down there that was done, so I have no issues at all. Board members, any comments,
I
questions?
would just add that if you're going to be installing a sign, that you come in and get a building permit so that we can approve it before you place one up.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to grant the request of Costi Toma for a garage repair license at 664 Washington Street. Number of vehicles?
8.
How many?
8.
The 8 vehicles. I know there's 12 there.
Yeah,
now, there's
that
8
allows in case they're moving for the used car, so that works out perfect.
Okay, good.
So 12, eight vehicles, 12 on the lot.
Yes,
Yeah, at any given time overnight.
perfect.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to grant the request of Costi Tuma for a garage repair license, 664 Washington Street. 8 cars for repair, 4 for sale at any given time on the lot. And we are surrendering the existing license.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
You're all set.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Agenda item number 3, hearing regarding the request of Thanos Menage, DBA, Papa's Roast Beef and Pizza, 15 Scammell Street, for a common vicular license. Come right up to the podium. And you are Thanos?
Mimosa, the manager.
The manager?
Mimosa Manage.
And what's your name again?
Mimosa,
Mimosa?
Mimoca.
And you're gonna be the manager?
Correct.
And is Thanos Menage here?
Well, the last letter is supposed to be J.
Right.
Yeah,
Is that person here today?
yeah, he's here.
Right here?
Yeah,
Okay. And you're gonna be the manager?
yep,
And this is an existing facility and you guys are just taking over the CV license?
correct.
So before I open it up to the board, Kathy Nugent was there on 2/2/17. Paul Anderson from my office was there. We are going to need the workman's compensation form filled out. All of the other paperwork is in, the emergency contact. This is a non-liquor establishment. It's basically a pizza place at 15 Scammell Street. It's been there for a long, long time. Any members of the audience have any comments, questions? Seeing none, we'll close. Board members? Chief Barron.
Mr. Chairman, Inspector Wong was by and inspected the location. Did you speak to him, or did Mr. Manning speak with my inspector?
No.
She did not, okay. In his notes, I have your ANSEL system, your fire suppression system needs to be inspected. You do have an emergency light out. But your grill hood also, it appears, needs to be cleaned. And those are critical items, the fire suppression system and the cleaning of that grill hood. It's very causative in some high loss fires. So I would ask the board to hold your license until that paperwork is caught up and those inspections are made.
Okay.
So I would request that we vote on it, but then hold the license. So if you've not taken possession of the building, if you're still in negotiation with the owner, you want to make sure those things are done. So it's the Ansel system, an emergency light, the hood cleaning, and also the need to have an additional fire extinguisher in the back room. And so that I would like you to catch up on those items before we issue the license.
Board members, any other questions, comments?
How do you spell your last name?
Manaj, M-A-N-A-J.
Hours of operation?
11 to 11.
11 to 11, is that 7 days a week?
I mean, it's gonna be open for 6 days. but
6 days?
Yeah.
You want, you can take it for 7,
For
and you can
7.
close on the day that
Okay.
you want, but in case you ever want it to open, that way you'll have it, okay?
Okay.
So 11 to 11, 7 days a week. Now, do you have any experience in the restaurant business?
Yes, we do.
And where have you worked?
10, 12 years.
10, 12 years?
We used to have a restaurant before.
Where was that?
Jamaica Plain.
Jamaica Plain. Any other questions, board members?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to grant the request of Anosha Minaj, DBA Papa's Roast Beef and Pizza, 15 Scandal Street, for a common victualler license. Hours of operation 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., 7 days a week. Pending inspections and approval for fire protection systems and hood cleaning from the Quincy Fire Department.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to grant the request of Fados Minaj and Manoka Minaj, DBA Papa's Roast Beef, 15 Scammell Street, for a common vicular license, 11 to 11, 7 days a week, pending final inspections by the fire department. All in favor?
Aye.
You're all set, okay? Just make sure you get those inspections done, and once they're done, we'll issue the license through Cindy Manning.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Hearing regarding the request of Gelato Artignali. That's pretty good. Hearing regarding the request of Gelato Artignali Inc., DBA Café Gelato, for a common vicular license at 1420 Hancock Street. Denise Santini, manager. This is Denise.
I am Denise, hello.
Denise, nice to have you here. Why don't you tell us what your proposal is?
Our proposal is, it's actually on Chestnut, but here the address is on Hancock. I'm not sure why, but it's the new buildings that they are doing. We're on the Chestnut Street side. So anyways, what we're proposing to do is having gelateria, specialty coffees, sandwiches, and salads. So we'd be open 7 days a week, from 6:30 in the morning till 11 or midnight, depending on his summer hours. Basically, I wanted it held that just for the summer hours, because I'm not sure what it's going to be.
And this is in the new building? that's
It's in the
being
new
built.
building on the
This is gonna be a
Chestnut.
complete build-up.
Yes, complete build-up. We're in the process right now.
It's not,
It's west of
West of Chestnut, right?
It's west of Chestnut, it's the building on Chestnut Street.
Exactly, exactly.
all of the paperwork is in order, even the workman's comp. Bill DeCali has been there, and Robert, would it be? I can't make out the last name, from your
Condon?
office?
Is it Condon?
Rock Coleman?
Yeah,
Maybe it is
maybe.
Rob Conlon.
The building inspector, the inspection
Yeah,
department.
Tall guy?
He writes like a doctor.
Yeah. Robert.
They were both, one was there last year at the 27th, on the 28th of September, so this has been in the makings. The workman's comp is all filled out, the emergency contact is filled out. I have a copy of the menu. Boom, boom, boom. You're not gonna be doing any grilling or anything like that?
No,
So
I
there's
do
no
have.
hood or
no,
anything
there's
else?
no hood, I
No
do have nothing like that.
I missed the hours. What time do you open?
Oh, okay, so since
I know you
we're
said
breakfast,
midnight.
lunch, and dinner, we're about 6:30 a.m. We'd like to open.
This is already built out, right? You already,
We're in the process of building it out right now.
oh, it's so right now.
It's still right now, yeah, so we've gotten all the permits, so they're doing the build out right now, and we're hoping to open up mid-April,
6:30 a.m. until,
Midnight?
midnight. Just to cover the hours, I'm not sure I'll be open that
and
late.
that's 7 days?
Yes,
Is this a chain or is it your business?
my business, it's not a chain.
Any members of the audience have any comments, questions? Seeing none, board members? Chief Barron.
Just a week or two before you open, make sure you call my fire prevention office and allow us to do a walkthrough.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And curious, you've been in this business before?
I have not been in the gelato business. I am in the restaurant business. I currently have a small takeout place in downtown Boston on Water Street, Broad Street side. I've been there for 6 years.
Oh, good luck.
Thank you, thank you.
And again, just make sure you have the health department come down for a final
Absolutely,
walkthrough,
no,
so
yeah,
everything
we
else.
will have all that done. Absolutely.
Any other questions, comments, board members?
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to grant the request of Gelato Artigianali, Inc., DBA Café Gelato for a common victular license at 1420 Hancock Street, represented by Denise Santini, the manager. Hours of operation, 6:30 a.m. to 12 midnight.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to grant the request of Gelato Artigianali, Inc., DBA Café Gelato for a common victular license at 1420 Hancock Street. Denise Santini, the manager. Hours of operation, 6:30 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week. All in favor?
Aye.
You're all set, okay?
Thank
Good
you,
luck.
Good luck.
thank you.
Agenda item number 5.
Attorney Coleman is here.
Hearing regarding the request of Fusion Kitchen, Inc., 7377 Franklin Street for pledge of license to Bank of Canton, Andrea Core Paralegal, and it's not Andrea Core, it is,
Not today.
not today,
Chris Coleman.
Chris Coleman. Okay, why don't you tell us what you're gonna do?
Be happy to, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, Chairman, Mr. and board members. Jason Yee is with me. He is the owner of the property out there at 77 Franklin Street. Used to be Alfredo's Restaurant. A lot of improvements. He purchased the real estate about a month or so ago. A lot of rehab on the inside, complete new kitchen, basically. It's an overhaul inside. Cosmetic mostly on the outside, but the loan is with the Bank of Canton. I think they didn't actually request the pledge of the license at the time we were here before you for the liquor license, or else we would have wrapped it in the same application. But they kind of told us a couple weeks prior to closing, well, by the way, yes, we want that. So that's why we're a little bit delayed in that. The loan's for $1.1 million, and Bank of Canton has a pledge agreement that they have. I believe it's in file for your review. But I've reviewed it. I found it to be customary. Be happy to answer any questions that you might have with regard to that.
Before I open it up to the board, anybody in the audience have any comments, questions? Seeing none, I have just a couple. When do you think we'll be ready to open?
About 5 months.
About 5 months?
5 months.
And we're completely shut down right now, right?
Yes.
Anybody, any other comments, questions? Seeing none, look for motion.
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to grant the request of Fusion Kitchen, Inc., 73-77 Franklin Street for a pledge of license to Bank of Canton, represented by Chris Coleman.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to grant the request of Fusion Kitchen, Inc., 7377 Franklin Street for a pledge of license to Bank of Canton. Chris Coleman representing. All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Thank you
We're all
very much.
excited for that to open up.
Thanks.
Agenda item number 6, hearing regarding the violation of Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 34, in the ABCC's recommendation of the board's revocation of the CV all alcohol license of Flash of the Ash, 1454 Hancock Street, Bernard Connington, the manager, represented by Lou Cassis, attorney at law.
Good afternoon, thank you for appearance again.
This is a item that has been on the agenda for a while. We actually went back to March 17th. It was a revocation of the license of Clash of the Ash. We stayed the revocation until we had the appeal process. The appeal process has come back, and the ABCC basically said that we acted too harshly. I'll actually read the conclusion. Based on the evidence, the Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission disapproves the action of the Quincy Board of License Commissioners in revoking the Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 12 license of Vale Liam Corp. DBA Clash of the Ash. The Commission remands the matter to the local board with a recommendation that a penalty be imposed which is consistent with the local board's rules of progressive discipline. That being said, in the file that was presented to the ABCC, the applicant did admit that they did sell to the minors. It's basically that the revocation was too severe. So
Correct.
I'm going to allow you to.
Well, in the meantime.
What date was that at? What was the violation date? Was that the
March 17th, yes.
of 2016?
2016.
That was the St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day violation.
And then in the meantime, that was occurred, I think, in December. And then
Yes.
in the meantime, another incident occurred, which you had another hearing on, and the license was revoked again. That one's not stayed and been closed, I think, for about, 4 or 5 weeks.
Yes, in the end of January, I believe,
Right.
yeah.
And, okay, so I think the best thing you can do on this is impose a penalty consistent with your policy on the first one. Leave the second one alone, which is on appeal for May 10th. It's the hearing date. And in the meantime, we've had the same buyer for some time now, and he's gone through different partnerships and phases of involvement. I talked to him as recently as, what's today's date? Today's Tuesday. I talked to him Friday, and he still wants to buy it. And I sent him paperwork, which he's given to his lawyer. So my hope is that if all this happens, that before we have a hearing at the ABCC, the place would be under agreement and or sold if the buyer was approved by this board. So I don't want to tell you what to do. You can either continue this generally or impose a penalty on the first violation, which will be served because we're closed anyway. Whatever penalty you impose would be served concurrent with the revocation that's already being served.
So, I guess I'll go first. If I understand you correctly, you want us to impose a suspension that is appropriate, consistent with what our policy is.
Correct.
Rescind or
Well, I don't think.
Well, I think we have to take them one at a
Okay.
time.
Yeah, I think it's.
I think we need to hear, we've been sent back a letter to reconsider
Right.
what our discipline was in regards to the March 17th, and I think we should only discuss that at this point.
I think on the first one, the one that's been sent back, you don't have to do anything other than accept the recommendation of the commission. If you accept the recommendation of the commission, you don't have to accept it, but if you do accept it, and you impose a suspension, then that takes care of that problem. That's a fait accompli. I'm not going to appeal that. That case is done.
The March 17th case?
Correct, and
Yeah.
I think that's what we
Correct.
need to discuss
Okay.
right now.
Make a motion.
Yeah, are there any,
Are we only here to
Discussion.
talk about that particular
Yes.
remand?
I would say so.
yeah,
So,
because we've already made a determination
on
on
the other,
the revocation, which it stands and they're closed in
pending appeal.
pending the appeal, whenever that May date will be. So right now, we've been remanded back to make a determination on the March 17th penalty.
so my question, so the ABCC didn't say what they just remanded it back with a recommendation.
To be consistent with our past.
When they did that, did they know, or did it matter that there's another episode?
Doesn't mention that.
No,
at
they
all.
take it as I believe they
All
take it as a
separate, all
separate
separate.
incident.
And the reason I ask that is because now with the remand, now that we know that there is a second we can't consider that at all?
Not in this one, not at this point, because we've already revoked them anyway. So it can't get any harsher than that.
Yeah, you can't get any worse.
Well, it has,
In other words, you've already revoked it on the second one, so,
but they're asking us to do something that's consistent with our policy.
right.
Right now, the record state is different
Right.
than what it was.
Not
first.
really though, because and I'm not telling you what,
No, I know.
it's up to you now.
Appreciate it.
But at the time you revoked it, they found that was too harsh, given their record. The fact that something happened after that, which is again on appeal, you can't bootstrap yourself back and say, well, now that I have a subsequent violation, I was justified. They were saying you were justified on March 17th. You don't get
No,
re-justified
I
later.
understand.
I don't think you do anyway, that would be my opinion.
Mr. Chairman, I noticed Janet's in the audience, I don't know if she wants to comment or not.
This is Janet Petkin, City Solicitor for the City of Quincy.
Attorney Cassis is right. What has happened subsequent to the March 17th violation is not relevant. So the issue with the ABCC is we had submitted documentation as part of the hearing regarding what the policy was. It wasn't like formal rules and regulations, but it was first offense, I believe it was verbal warning, second offense written warning, third offense suspension. And in this case, we did third offense revocation. So they said we weren't being consistent with what were our own policies, even if they weren't formally in writing, that's what we had said we generally do. So they sent it back for consideration of what the appropriate penalty should be given what our informal policies are. So what you need to just do today is almost pretend that the fourth incident didn't happen and just what is the appropriate penalty for a third offense of serving to minors. And if it's 2 weeks, 30 days, whatever, as a suspension, that's for you to decide that part. There again is no written policy because you do want to have flexibility in case there's something really, really bad that happens. You don't want to say, well, it's only the first time. So you do want to have that flexibility, but their opinion was that the revocation was just too harsh. But it also is essentially a moot point, whatever suspension you impose at this point, because there is the subsequent revocation. And in terms of this stuff with the PNS, certainly if that goes through and there's someone successful who wants to buy it, then that person just comes in and says, we want the license. So it's really the fact that we have a hearing scheduled for May 10th on the appeal of the revocation might end up just being a moot point if somebody comes in and says, we've got this deal and it's going to go through, and can we have that license?
I think that sums it up pretty well.
Yep.
Thank you, Jim. So we never took into the consideration that when we had the last suspension, that there was a state.
We did take
They took that
that
into
into
they did.
consideration, and they didn't. Because we didn't have that written into our policies that we would accept that type of, so.
Understood.
Ready for a motion?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the license, the CV all alcohol license of Clash of the Ash, 1454 Hancock Street for 10 days with time already served as a result of the March 17, 2016 violation.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to suspend the license of Clash of the Ash for violations of Mass General Law 138, Section 34, that for Clash of the Ash for 1554 Hancock Street for 10 days of time already served. All in favor?
Aye.
So that's unanimous, 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That concludes that. Can we close right now?
They're still closed.
Yes. Yeah.
So they're still closed, we understand they're still closed because they're
They're
under
still closed,
revocation.
and they're
And we
under-
didn't extend them the courtesy of leaving it open this
Right.
time.
Right.
So
And
pending the hearing, March, May 10th?
They-
May 10th, so they're closed pending that hearing.
But if I could have just, so if they decide to, if they come up with a purchase and sale agreement, they could come back before us to reconsider our suspension, our revocation, so that they could sell it. Is that what I heard correctly?
Yes.
So that, okay, we're all on the same page. With that, we did have a directive from the Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission regarding serving wine in private clubs. On January 13th, 2017, Governor Charlie Baker signed into law an act relative to serving wine in private clubs, amending Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 12. The ABCC provides the following guidance regarding this amendment to Chapter 138. As of January 13th, 2017, a club license under Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 12, may permit its members to bring onto the club's licensed premise wine lawfully purchased by them to be consumed on the premise with a meal purchased at the club. Please be aware that club licenses have the discretion to refuse to permit members to bring wine onto the licensed premise. If a club does allow wine to come on, they have to follow all of the same rules as far as the member may only bring wine on the premise, not malt beverages, spirits, and/or liquors. The members must purchase a meal at the club and consume the wine with the meal. At all times, the club must control the handling, serving, and dispensing of the members' wine. Unopened bottles of wine must be returned to the patron, who then must remove them from the premise at the conclusion of the meal. And any opened and unfinished bottles of wine must be recorked in accordance with 204 CMR 2.18 in Mass General Law, Chapter 90, Section 241. The club must charge a reasonable corkage fee of at least $30 per bottle of wine that is opened. As a reminder, all licensees must ensure that they are in compliance with the laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and that the manufacture and sale of alcoholic beverages take place only as authorized by applicable law. So my little understanding of this is, if we have a private club, and I'll take the neighborhood club as a, for instance, since that's a private club, and, you know, Paul, you and your wife want to go to have dinner there, and they don't have a bottle of wine that's up to your standards, you can bring in a $120 bottle of wine. The club can open it, pour it, dispense it, and what you don't finish, which I'm sure you wouldn't finish the whole bottle, must be recorked according to Mass General laws as far as Chapter 90, Section 241.
See, I heard it differently. I heard they're gonna charge me $30 to uncork my $9 bottle of wine.
Well, that's
But that's just me.
that's how that's an issue.
How do they determine what the wine goes, what it sells for?
Oh, they don't determine it at all. You're bringing the wine yourself, but they have to charge you at least a minimum of $30
to put your,
Oh,
your
okay.
group cap back on.
Okay.
So, does that make sense? Makes sense to me. If someone has a, I would imagine it's for some of the real, you know,
Rich people.
yeah. So, with that, that is all that we have. Do I have a motion to waive the minutes from the reading of the last minutes?
I'll make the motion to waive the minutes.
Second? All in favor? Aye. With that, the licensing board for
I know.
February 21st, 2017 is now concluded. Thank you very much.
Who's the city council staff? Somebody or something?
My brother.